Okay, let's talk about this. Spoiler warning for those of you who have not seen the latest episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because this review is full of them. I don't know how I can talk about this series without giving spoilers. It's really not a thing. I really think that this episode is my favorite episode out of all of them. I know I say that about every single episode that has come out so far, but it's true for this one. I really like this episode a lot more than the other ones. Although it's my favorite episode, it does have its own disappointments, so we're going to talk about all of that. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I do movie reviews, and this time we're doing TV show reviews. I don't know if this counts as a TV show, it's more of an anthology. I do trailer reactions, I do movie talks, I do movie reviews, so if you like any of those things, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below, and welcome to the team. I love talking with you guys down in the comments, so if you ever have any comments ever, let me know in the comments down below if you have anything about my channel or the video itself. Let's get started with this review on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because there's a lot to unpack here. So episode 5 picks right up where episode 4 left off. Like, there's no time in between. So what happens is John Walker murders somebody. You know, it's kind of justified, but also at the same time, not really. It's not okay to murder anybody at any point in time. It's not justice. It's not really a good thing to do to murder somebody, so I hope that if you're watching this, please don't think about murdering your friend. What has been happening in this episode is a lot of, it's like more chill, but it's still heavy. Thematically, this show has been a very heavy TV show that Marvel has been putting out. WandaVision was a little bit, I don't want to compare, but WandaVision was a little bit lighter just because of the situations and circumstances that they were in, also because of the content that it is. This is not made in a fantastical world inside of somebody's mind, so we're just gonna assume that everything is heavy and more life-threatening in general. Side note, I'm pretty sure Agent 13 is the broker, like the power broker or whatever. It's not a surprise anymore. What happens in this episode is that it starts off right where it ends on episode 4, so we start out with this massive fight, and this fight is okay. I really like the fight, don't get me wrong. As a fan, I really like the fight. As a film nerd, whatever you call him, as a cinephile and somebody who enjoys the art of filmmaking, it's a little bit messy for me. It just kind of, I didn't feel like the fight was gonna go one direction or the other. I couldn't see some of the moves that they were doing, which kind of, you know, like, I'm sure it was very impressive, so I wanted to see more of that impressive stuff and coordination that they were using, but I wasn't able to see a lot of it, so I wasn't very impressed with the fight in general. I know I might sound weird to some people, but I think that it could have been captured better. The choreography was amazing, I'm sure, but I think it could have been captured a little bit better in a way that was a little less messy, but maybe that was the point. So we start off with this messy fight, and who's gonna win, we don't know, and then in the end, Falcon and the Winter Soldier win. It's still heartbreaking when they win. You get this kind of just discord between Bucky and Sam, the same discord that has been pulling at them since episode 2. A lot to unpack there. I could do a full analysis of the fight and what happened there, but we're not going to. There's this wall that appears between Bucky and Sam, and it separates them for a time being. Then we switch over to John Walker, and he gets less than honorable discharge, which dishonorably discharged sounds better to me, but I'm not one with the government laws and everything, so it's just gonna be different. But we are introduced to this woman who I feel like should have been introduced earlier in the plot for her to be relevant right now. I don't care about her as a villain. I'm sure she matters later. She might show up in another movie later that might be important, but right now I don't care about her. And I don't really care that she has something to say and that she's influencing John Walker. I thought that was going to be Zemo's job. Speaking of which, Baron Zemo is arrested and taken to Wakanda for questioning, like, just justice in general, I guess. Because he did kill the King of Wakanda. That's kind of a big deal for a government to let slide by for that long. But I'm really disappointed that Zemo isn't becoming more of an asset to Sam and Bucky's team, because I was really interested in what he was going to do. Like I said in another episode, I believed that he was a puppet master. I mean, he is. That's his whole shtick, is that he's a puppet master that is manipulating everything from behind the scenes, and then you don't realize it until the very last episode. And now that he's out of the picture, I don't really care about anybody else. I don't care about the Flag Smashers, or whatever they're called, the big hand group or whatever. As much as I think that the movement is important to the MCU as a whole, and I just think it could have been done a little bit better, maybe change some things. But this episode also brings us to a little bit more of a day in the life of a superhero. But before we get to that fun stuff, that boat scene where everybody in the community and everything is happening, which is one of my favorite sequences in this show so far. But first, Sam visits the first Black Captain America. There's a lot in this episode. Really, there's a lot, but the pacing is so well that you don't realize that it's a lot until the very end when you're like, wow, it's a lot to unpack. And me right now, I'm like, wow, that's a lot to unpack. So Sam visits Isaiah Bradley, and Isaiah Bradley has this very judgmental and pessimistic view of the world because he's lived through it. It really shows how much Sam is going through right now. Right now, he's trying to juggle being a superhero, being a brother to his struggling sister, be a Black Captain America, potentially. So much going on in the layers of the Falcon, and it proves that he has more going on beneath the surface than he's letting show to the public and to his other team members even. And Isaiah Bradley has some good points. He really does. It's just that Sam takes in that information and makes it his own. He doesn't take it and be like, yes, I hate America. It's no. Actually shows very mature themes of him accepting that this is what Isaiah Bradley went through, and then saying, I'm not going to be that person. I'm not going to have this happen to me. I'm going to fight for my own individuality and my own journey of being a superhero and not doing what Isaiah Bradley did. That's a lot to unpack in there. Moving on to the entire sequence when Bucky and Sam are fixing his parents' boat. Now this is fun. What we see here is more of a day in the life, more of, we call it slice of life, where we see a glimpse into characters and their personality rather than what they do. And so we see a little bit into Bucky, and we see reminiscence of him when he was in Captain America the First Avenger, and it's just really fun, and they have these little quips and they go back and forth about certain things, and we get to see a little bit of Sam based on the people that he calls and for favors and invites on to help fix the boat. It's really cool and I love it. And then the training sequence is awesome. They did a really good job on this training sequence. I really liked it a lot. I do think it's weird that he was trying to do that one specific move. It's basically Sam putting his own spin on Captain America and just doing things his way. Also the briefcase, we don't know what's in the briefcase. We don't really know what's gonna happen with the briefcase, but it's a briefcase. So I guess in the last episode they're gonna fight against the Flag Smashers and potentially this new villain. And I know that John Walker's coming back to fight as well because they're not just gonna throw that guy away. Again, I'm really disappointed that Zemo is out of the picture. Maybe he's not completely out of the picture, but he's really out of the picture as far as I can tell. As far as I can tell, he's kind of out of the picture, and it's just very sad for me. Again, I don't really care about the villains except for Zemo, which might not be a good thing. What are your guys' thoughts on this last episode? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great random Thursday, and I will see you on the other side of the screen.